So with this thing, you should what's it called? Pushing peas. I don't really know what that.
Have you heard about that trial? Like all the shenanigans going along with it?
Pushing peas?
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't even know.
So the lawyer has argued in court on the record that Pushin' P does not stand for pills or Percocet. The P is for positivity.
Oh yeah, I did hear
Pushing
that.
positivity.
Yes. Oh.
Oh. Thug is not a gang or a criminal. It actually stands for truly humble under God.
Yeah.
So, I said, "Boy, you lying."
I did hear that. Well, you know that I think it's a chair. Sorry, I think that Offset. You know how he starts one of the songs where he goes pop a perk just to get it started, but himself doesn't do any of those drugs. He knows he smokes weed, but you know I think it's kind of funny that you're like super promoting something and have such a big influence on something, and then you don't even do it yourself.
Either he's going to get he's going to sell no records after the trial after it's like I ain't into that pushing positivity, or they're going to get struck by lightning in the court.
Well, what if he does, and he's going to be like Will Smith before he slapped Chris Rock, and you know, like most of his songs doesn't have curse words in it, which is in fact not true. Also,
I didn't know that
because he does have a song, and I used to love that song. It's called like "You Saw My Blinker, Bitch," and it's an absolutely hilarious song. And it's talking about like riding down the street and the woman hit him, and then like he's like, "Oh man, you saw my blinker, bitch." But
we've all been there.
I think it's hilarious. Okay, so anyways, welcome to Serve Neat podcast. We're gonna try this out. There's a lot of wiring going on right now. I'm not exactly sure how we're gonna handle that in the end, but we're gonna try that out. And I don't know which camera really to look at. I think I'm going to kind of look at the far one, but it's distracting to see us right there, just a little bit.
But together we're going to push some P, some
we
positivity.
We are going to push some P now, definitely. This is all about body positivity, whatever it's going to be,
good.
Right? So, and of course, this episode is sponsored by absolutely nobody. We're doing our own thing.
That's right.
All right.
Nobody bought and paid for us.
All right. So, this is Will, Anthony, of course. We've known each other for a really long time now. Man, a really long time.
Yeah, at least a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we met the other day at Publix, and he was getting some ham, and I told him it's not cured, so it's like you got to get something else.
That sickly ham.
Yeah, definitely cook it.
Hadn't been cured yet.
Yeah. No.
It's been like 15 years.
15 years?
Something like that.
That is insane. It is a long time.
It's been a hot minute, as they say on the streets.
Yeah. Hold on. I'm gonna move this camera a little bit so.
It's a camera now. Oh, there you go.
Oh yeah, microphone.
It's a sound camera.
Oh yeah, this sounds a lot better now.
Smooth.
What if the camera was right there and just gets like your eyeball or something like that? You know.
One of them wide-angle fish lenses.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if everybody knows, but a lot of people know that I resigned on my last job. My last day was technically yesterday, but I was scheduled to be off. And I was trying to even get that Saturday off too, but it didn't work out. That Saturday was...
Just talking last night at work, every job I've ever put in a notice at, they never let me work it. When I was working at...
That's smart.
When I was working at Hooters, I gave them a month and a half notice. I said, hey, you guys are going to need to train somebody. You know, bring them in. I'll show them what's going on. You know, I'm here for you. I'm not going to leave. I don't start my next job for another month and a half, so I'm not going anywhere. They were like, don't worry about coming in anymore. Like,
oh, wow, like directly.
Yeah. I was like, but. They're like, no, why don't you take that month and a half?
I didn't plan for this.
I was expecting another month and a half of pay.
Oh, no, that's horrible. Well, mine was, well, really, okay, so the funny thing is, you remember Dave Young, okay? So I'm I'm had it and I was fed up and stuff like that. Some things happened and I don't know if I'm gonna talk about it at one point or another. I don't want to really like down him or anything like that. But anyways, so I'm texting Dave, or who I think it is Dave, and I'm actually texting David, who's my boss, right? And I go, "Hey, I'm putting in my notice," and I press send, and it goes to Dave, and then I'm looking and be like, "Hold on, that's not Dave.
Wait a minute.
That is David, my boss." Right? So, because sometimes you say stuff and you don't really mean it, but you're just like,
sure.
yeah. I mean, I was planning on quitting, but not that time. I was
Not
going to
then.
take a little bit more and kind of, extend the thing. But I was definitely quitting. So I send another thing. Tonight I'm going to send you my resume, but you have some time. So he responds back, "Don't say anything off yet. Let me talk to you in the morning." So I mean, that's kind of how it kind of really started. But yeah, I mean, it was, and since then, and I gave a month notice, and they asked me to stay a little bit longer because it's at the end of the year, so I stayed a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole entire time, I'm like, what if they pull me out right now? What if they pull me out right now? And then David would come to the store and be like, okay, he's about to ask for my keys. But they never did. I literally worked at a month and a half, like to the time until the last day. And David came in to the store, and then he just kind of stands around, and I'm like, is he not going to ask for my keys? I'm not staying here till 6 o'clock. Like I'm opening, I'm
You
done.
went to the last minute.
Yeah. So after a while, like 2-3 hours while he's still in there, be like, all right, I'll take your keys. It's like, here you go. I'm joking with the guests in there, and they were like, are you ready and stuff like that? And I'm like, man, I got my keys ready. I just need him to show up, So,
They don't even take your keys. Dixie Lock just shows up and starts replacing all the locks.
I don't have a spare. I don't. That would be funny
You
though.
ain't getting back in here.
So yeah, that's and I was there for a while, but I was gonna ask you your opinion, your worst job. Now, and this one wasn't my worst job. I would say I hated working for Cracker Barrel, even though I mean they're paid good, but it's so.
I've never had a job I absolutely hated. Now, the worst run company I've ever worked for was a place called Beyond the Wall. It was the poster store in the mall, if you remember. It was next to Dillard's.
No, I didn't ever go to the mall.
I was working at Chick-fil-A in the food court, and then my second job was a poster place, and this is before the internet's just becoming a big thing that everyone's starting to use, and I'm still in high school, and I just got a little part-time job there, and all of a sudden one day I'm working, and the store manager's like, "Well, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow." I said, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I'm walking out."
Oh no!
I'm like, "Walking out to do what?" he's like, "No,
I'll take two cinema buns and some Skittles when you come back. I'll see you.
Well, I was working there at the poster store with him, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm not coming back tomorrow. Like, I'm just done." And I was like, "So, what do I need to do?" He's like, "I don't care. I don't work here anymore." I was like,
No.
"Can I do your job?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure, man. I don't care."
It's like
It's
whatever.
like, whatever. So I started just writing. I just became the manager. I just promoted myself. So I started.
Did nobody said anything?
No, it was like 5 employees in the whole store, and so I just started hiring people. Yeah, there was no corporate structure. Like, I never spoke to anyone outside of the store.
Yeah.
So like at the end of the night, you would just call into an answer machine, and you would type in your sales, and you would punch the keypad in, and you'd say, "Sold $400." Deposit was $195. And
No
like
way.
that was it. Like, you never spoke to anybody, and that went on for like 3 months. I hired my friend in high school. We were just playing music and having fun and doing whatever we could, because I'd never managed anything outside of a shift lead at Chick-fil-A at the time. And then this guy just randomly shows up one day, like I said, a month and a half, or I guess 3 months later. He's like, "Hey, I'm from Atlanta." I'm like, "Oh, hey, buddy, what you doing?" He's like, yeah, they sent me to run the store. I'm like, who's they? I didn't know they'd realized anyone wasn't here anymore. And he's like, oh yeah, just to be upfront, they're gonna shut this store down. So
Oh, no.
you got like 2 weeks.
Oh.
Take whatever you want. I don't care.
What? Like, they really didn't care.
Well, they had no inventory system.
Oh.
So they didn't know what was bought. They didn't know what was popular. You couldn't order anything for anybody. We were actually told to send them to our competitor's website. They're like, can you get this poster in? No, I cannot.
No, dog.
I'm like, you'll have to go to allposters.com and order that. Oh, is that y'all's website? No, it is not.
What the heck?
And so, like, this was, I don't know, like a year or so, year after Fast and Furious came out.
Uh-huh.
And, like, the hype had died down, and they're still sending us, like, 50 Vin Diesel posters a week. I mean,
They should have kept on going with all the Fast and Furious movies that they got.
They're just not selling. I mean, like, everything that people want, we have no way to tell them, hey, can you send some more of these? People just asking for them left and right. I mean, it was such a poorly run company. I am not surprised that they are no longer in business. But
Is it closed everywhere or just
Yeah,
that store?
it's closed
so it's
everywhere.
bankrupt pretty much.
I mean, just unsustainable. And you can't
man.
not know what's in your store. I mean, just send them random posters. That doesn't even make sense, even when you think about it. Here I was a kid, and I was like, this just ain't right.
Oh shoot, that is hilarious! I can't believe that's insane.
I overslept one day, and I got to work, and I was supposed to open up, and the mall was already open, and I raised the gate, and it's like lunchtime, and the security guard comes over. He's like, there's a fine for not being open. I'm like,
Sure.
bill the company.
Yeah. Hold on a second. Let me tell you. Let me look at my wallet. I got.
Ain't coming out of my check. I think I get $9 an hour.
That's how much you got paid?
I think so. It was like, this is back when, minimum wage was like, I think it was like $6 or something like that.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I thought I was doing great.
Yeah.
Well, of course, you're living at home. You don't have any bills really,
Right.
outside of,
adulthood hits.
lunch, and I don't even know if I paid for my cell phone back then.
Oh. How much did you make on your first job?
That was BILO, and it was $5.25. What minimum wage was?
I was Georgia Forestry Commission, $5.50.
My dream job at the time was to be a bookkeeper at BILO, because they made I think they made $7 an hour, and they just looked like they had so much fun, and they didn't do anything. I mean, Chris Tankersley was there, and I was like, that dude is so cool. Like, he doesn't do anything; he just shows up. But my favorite part was when I got moved to produce. I just ate fruit all day.
Oh.
And every once in a while, somebody would be like, can you cut this cantaloupe for me? I got you, lady. let me wrap it up with the little saran wrapper
Yeah.
machine. But other than that, you just ate fruit all day and just put lettuce out. I mean, it wasn't bad at all.
Really? I think my worst. Oh, I wouldn't say even worse. It's just Cracker Barrel. It was crazy demanding, and they switch people around too. Like schedule manager, in charge of the food. So there's a GM, there's a schedule manager who schedules everybody front and back. And it almost takes the whole entire day because you schedule people by 30-minute increments.
Oh, Lord.
AM, PM, and all of that stuff. And then you have a food manager and supply manager. Supply manager is easy. All you got to make sure that you got boxes and you got to make sure you have tampons.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big one.
Big one.
And yeah, so that part is easy. And of course, you run your shifts. The hardest one was the food manager, because if you run out of stuff, you have to go get it from another Cracker Barrel or you can't get it from a store, because none of that stuff is
Off the
store
shelf.
bought. Everything is made from Cracker Barrel. Everything is made by Cracker Barrel.
That's crazy.
So they have their own store when they do the mixes and stuff like that, and the flour. They have all that. It's all Cracker Barrel owned. They don't go out anywhere. Even their scheduling system is Cracker Barrel's own hot schedules. And it's absolutely, now the training is absolutely amazing, but once you go in there, it's you're like, what the, this is nothing like training, right? But if you're the food manager, yeah, so living in Augusta, I had to, they were out of something, I had to drive to freaking, and I was working in Aiken. So I'm living in Augusta, working in Aiken, right? So
I know that struggle.
you drive all the way down to Evans or Grovetown, whichever one, pick up the product. I have to drive past my house to go to my work and drop it off. And this is even on my day off. Like, if it's my day off, I still have to do it.
Oh yeah, I'll do it any other day, but not my day off. I'm sorry.
It's crazy.
So the good thing about working where I work is you get mileage if they ask you to work at another store. So the nice thing is, since I live in Augusta, if they ever ask me to work in Augusta, I still get mileage because it's based on from where your home store is. So,
Oh, nice.
so to go a mile and a half down the street, they'll pay me like $75 in cash for all the driving I had to do. Like, oh, so sorry.
Let me help out some more, please.
Yeah. Just not in Augusta.
Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, and the reason I quit, this is the reason I quit Cracker Barrel. Well, the biggest thing that put me over. So I think that changed it. And I heard some other couple of things now with Cracker Barrel also. But there used to be a night janitor. Right, there has to be somebody in the building all the time.
Really?
And overnight is a night janitor. He comes in, starts cleaning stuff up, sweeps, and does the mopping. And Cracker Barrel is pretty huge.
Yeah.
Right, but you can get the stuff down fairly quickly in a couple of hours. But they come and show up at 10:30 at night and then get released when the morning manager checks them out in the morning, which is about 5 o'clock.
So what do they do for the rest of that time?
The one that we had, or the main one that we had, he would come in, starts cleaning stuff up, and it takes about 3-4 hours. And then he would do his schoolwork and just sit down and get paid for doing his schoolwork.
Okay.
As long as stuff gets done, they didn't really care.
Yeah.
The problem is, if you're a nighttime manager, right? So you close the store. Store closes at 11 o'clock, right? And the nighttime janitorial doesn't show up. Guess who gets to stay until the AM manager comes in?
No one. You lock that door.
It happened to me twice, and I'm like, yo, this is insane. Because you come in at 2 o'clock for your nighttime shift. So 2 o'clock in the morning, in the afternoon, right? You work your shift, and then all of a sudden, like, yo, there's nobody there. So you start calling, hey, yo, you need to come earlier because, 6 o'clock in the morning from the day before, 2 o'clock, I'm ready to go. So that happened twice. And then one of the managers there went to Mellow Mushroom, became area director, and he was like, hey, you want to come work for me? And I'm like, yo, 10 minutes down the street, I'm there.
I'm there, boss.
Yeah. So
what is their fascination with somebody being there 24 hours a day? Is it security or?
Yeah, it's a security thing, but I think they changed it now.
I was gonna say people breaking in to take the Rubik's cubes or whatever out of the little country store.
I don't know. Yo, that
I bought a harmonica for them.
Grocery store, but that store over there, or like any Cracker Barrel, makes so much money.
Oh, yeah.
It's insane, and especially during like Christmas,
The holidays,
all
yeah.
the old little women.
Oh, my wife got super big into. They had that was some. I think it was it Nightmare Before Christmas? It was some big holiday thing this past Christmas, and she kept seeing it on TikTok, and like they only had it at Cracker Barrel, and it was always sold out, and so like we had to go there several times on like truck days, and be like, "Did you get this Christmas ornament in yet?" I'm like, "What is my life for?"
People probably thinking like a bunch of crackheads. Yo, man, you got that Christmas stuff in? There, these people again waiting at the door. We're not even open yet.
That's my favorite. I went to open the door. It was right before Christmas. And I go to unlock the door, and there's 40 people standing outside. I'm like, it's not going to be a great day.
Like, we don't have the staff for that.
It's me and 2 servers. And I'm like, all y'all are on the Just, don't even give me your name. Just stand over there. Just hover.
That's what happened too, because we had one server from like 6 to 7, but they want buses to come and all of that stuff. So, and most of the time, actually my first day on the job, they were like, "Oh, it's chill. We don't ever see any buses." No, 2 buses came, and that was absolutely insane. It was like, this never happens. Oh, okay. So on my very first day, just 2 big old buses come with a whole bunch of people.
And weird, it happened every weekend after that.
I know. Y'all lying to me.
We got him now. He can't leave.
Right. So it's but I met some cool people cool people over there. And like every job, you really meet some really cool people and stuff like that. So even my last one to me was very sad. Probably the saddest I ever left a job. I made some really good connections, and I generally care for people, so I want them to do well also.
Yeah.
And with me leaving, I didn't really see the quality that is. And I'm not saying I am fantastic, but I think overall I'm pretty good, and I really do care what I do. But with me leaving, I didn't see the quality that was going to be there, and I felt disappointing for the rest of the staff. And like, oh man, it might suck. I mean, I might be totally wrong, you know. By the way, just a quick note: the person that was going to take over my job, he quit also. His last day is on the 14th,
Oh, no.
so it's like nope. Plus, the service manager quit.
Oh no. What the?
So there is an open availability right now.
I was gonna say. I don't know about alcohol, but I need the tea, sir. What is going on?
And I think one day I might actually say everything that happened, but this is just kind of crazy right now. It's just, and again, I really did enjoy working there. So it's just, in the end, there were some things done and said that I'm like, no, man, I'm good.
Should do a whole episode with nothing but work stories.
Oh yeah, so many.
many.
Well, we used to work together also.
Yeah.
That was good. I enjoyed that. I liked working with you.
For a week and a half.
What happened?
Anthony goes, hey man, you should really get a job over at Chili's. It's pretty cool. You'll like it. I said, okay, you know what? I bet I'll get this as a second job. And I don't know. Anthony worked there like a week and a half with me. He's like, just so you know, I put my notice in. I said, did I just get bamboozled? Did you just bring me in to replace you?
I did actually, but I knew
I don't
like
know, man, but have a good day. I said, what?
I knew you're a good guy, you know. So it's like, let me get somebody good in there. I always feel bad leaving.
Yeah.
You know. Man, that was. Dan also asked me if I wanted to stay, so I gave him my notice right before I went on vacation. We went to Florida, I think, and my boss was like, "Yo, while you're on vacation, just think about it."
I'll be thinking about how nice it is not to be at work.
That's 1 week. I come back for one more week and I'm gone. Was that dirty? I guess they could have said, you know, don't worry about it and not pay me, but actually I gave him longer week. I gave him more weeks.
Gotcha. Yeah, I always feel bad. Like, I try to give them as much notice as I can, you know?
Yeah.
Reasonably. I mean, I ain't trying to shoot my other job in the foot or whatever, but I feel like 2 weeks, 3 weeks is, you know, plenty of time to get somebody in. And I know you got to hire somebody. And
Right.
I know the struggle of having to hire new employees and get them up to speed and stuff like that. And I'm not trying to handicap anybody, you know?
Right. No, I mean, you definitely got to look out for yourself. Not in a nasty way, but, you know, if something doesn't work out and if you're miserable. Man, I worked there for 2 years, and I felt like I was absolutely miserable. I pulled up in the parking lot and sat there for like 30 minutes and was like, I don't think I'm going to go inside. But I always did, you know. Yeah, I think part of that has to do with my boss at the time. But I also had some fantastic, I don't know if you remember Paula Hall. She's my favorite boss ever. Absolutely amazing.
This was she's at where?
Chili. Right now?
Well,
Back
you're
then,
talking
there's
about.
Chili's.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No, I have the worst memory for people.
No, she was good. And you probably didn't even work with her. So.
We were talking last night when I was walking out the door, and one of my bartenders, he used to manage the Red Lobster across the street from my job. He said, yeah, my first job was, I was working at Bilo, where I met my wife, and we had just started dating, and all of a sudden I was driving to work, and I just kept on driving. I looked at it.
Not today.
As I drove by, and he said this was back when they still had payphones on all the corners. He said, I just drove to the nearest payphone and I called. And my boss picked up. He's like, what do you want? And he's like, I'm not coming in. And he goes, today? Ever. So I just went home. It was such a good date. I said, I don't think I could ever do that. But, kudos to you for knowing what you wanted.
I worked for, what's it called? Maybe we're talking about jobs a lot right now, but I was working for Future Call. Mm-hmm. You remember that? The telemarketing thing? And I hate being on phones. Mm-hmm. I really do. I don't, which is weird because nowadays I have a lot of headsets on. I talk a lot, but so on I still don't like talking on the phone. It's just different. Mm-hmm. So that's all it is. So
well, there's a difference in somebody that wants to be on the phone with you and somebody that does not want to be on the phone with you.
Oh yeah.
In all of those phone calls, they don't want to be on the phone with you.
No, they don't. But it's like it goes beep, and then you get your next phone call, and you do the spill, right? And you're like, yeah, and it was Bell South that they were representing at the time. I don't know if anybody remember Bell South, a phone company. So you start talking to people. Hey, let me show you how you save money and yada yada yada, and a lot of times you will save people money, but they have to pay more. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of, you add something to it, voicemail, which that was new at that point. Man, this is so crazy, right? So all of this stuff that people take for granted we worked hard to get stuff going. But voicemail and all that stuff to sign up for that. And they'd be like, well, I'm paying $35 now. I'd be like, yes, I get it. But you would only pay $20. Just add voice recording, voicemail, and something. And your bill will only be $50. So you're like, oh, okay. So you're trying to convince them and stuff like that. But I came into work fully intended to work. Mm-hmm. I had my tie on. I was ready to go. And I think part of it is at that time, my baby mama was pregnant. So she's already getting on my nerves. And then I'm looking into the hallway and I'm seeing all these people and I go to the front desk. And again, I'm walking in ready to go to work and I go, hey, I just can't do it anymore. And I turn around. But a week later, they closed down and people were trying to get their money and stuff like that. So I left at the perfect time.
I see that. They just have a big box. It happens all the time. Just put your badge here.
Yeah.
No paperwork necessary.
And that was my first job that I applied. I worked for Georgia Forestry Commission before, but my friend's mom was the boss. So they were like, hey, you want a summertime job? And I'm like, yeah, I'll do whatever. Still in high school and stuff like that. But
I was lucky my call center job was inbound. So people were, wanting to talk to me so I could give them something. And it was for XM satellite radio when they were brand new, and it was so easy. I mean, it was click, 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 done. I mean, it was like an 8-minute phone call was the average.
Oh, nice.
And you didn't have to upsell them on anything. Most people had like a year free trial, so they didn't pay anything and didn't worry about it. And it was very cool.
Yeah, XM radio. I like XM radio. It's so much though. Mm-hmm. I don't know the cost wise because I don't think I ever paid for it. I think I had it like 4 or 5 times. I never paid for it. It comes with a new car, by the way. It comes with,
The fun thing about that was, so like it all, so obviously they're not going to send a signal from my computer to the satellite to beam down to your radio to like activate and deactivate every one. That's just not efficient. So they do it in big batches, right? So what you would do is activate your trial. And then people would either have their car turned off, or they would go on vacation, or they just wouldn't use their brand new car for a couple of days, not wanting to wear it out or whatever.
Yeah.
As the deactivation signal came down, and then because it just burst it for a couple of days, then when they would crank their car up, they would still have the radio because it never got the deactivation signal. They would be so mad. They're like, I canceled it. I'm like, sir, you're not paying anything for that radio.
But
why is it playing it? I'm like, you just didn't get the signal. Just turn it off if you don't want to listen to it. Why is it still receiving it? I'm like, you're getting it for free. Be quiet.
Now, at one point, does it try to cancel it out again, or does it like
I think eventually
you could have it forever?
I had mine because they as one of the perks they gave us a little boom box and a radio and stuff, and mine worked for like 2 years after that. I think they finally wisened up to it. Like enough of people finally figured out, oh, I'll just cancel it and just turn it off so it never gets the cancel signal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, perfect. Yeah, why not? Why not do that?
It probably is more efficient now. It probably is like the day of and it cuts you off. I don't remember how it happened with my car. I think I got a signal or something like that, and
That's what I knew. The public at large was not super intelligent. I'm telling you, you're not paying for this radio. Why are you saying it to my car? I have no idea where your car is or anything like that, and I have no personal stakes in this. I'm just telling you, just don't listen to it if you don't want to listen to it. Just turn your radio off. It's not super difficult.
yeah.
Or just listen to it. I don't care. I work in a call center. What do you want?
That's what I always feel like. If I have to call somebody at a call center, I try to remind myself I'm not mad at them. They had nothing to do with it.
That's right.
But sometimes
They make it worse.
they do. They make it so bad. I cursed out somebody and not cursing out, but okay, so I yelled at somebody from working at USAA, and overall, I like USAA.
Mm-hmm.
But they, this is when Michaela was about to start driving. So I'm shopping around for insurance, what's going to do, because we had USAA insurance and stuff like that. And I call them, and I'm just trying to get a quote. Just trying to figure out if she's going to go on my insurance, her mom's insurance, whatever. So all of a sudden I get a bill, and it's $500 more than I normally pay. And I'm like, what the heck? What is going on? So I call them, and they're like, oh, you have a person that can drive your car, so they automatically go on the insurance.
That is true.
No, dog, I didn't sign up for anything. And to the point I literally had to say, where is the piece of paper or the document where I signed that this is going to happen? And they don't have it because I didn't sign it, right? So in the end, it did take off. I got refunded my money, but that also took 3 hours. And I was like, I'm about to charge you by the hour that we are on this phone. And they keep on going back. And, the lady was apologetic. It took so long. I think I talked like 5 different people and stuff like that. It was so heated.
That reminds me of, do you ever hear that story of the guy, you always get those fine print and terms that no one ever reads.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
sign and move along. A credit card company had sent him, hey, you're pre-approved, just essentially sign here and we'll send you your card. He only scanned it into his computer and changed some of the wording around. He was like, my limit is $500,000. I do not have to pay it back. 0% interest.
No.
If you try to cancel this, there's a $10,000 cancellation fee. And then signed it and then sent it back to them. And, they just auto-sign it, too, because they don't read every single one. They assume it's the same one they sent you back. And so anyway, they sent him a bill, and he was like, per our agreement that you signed, I don't have to pay this. And they were like, what? No, you can't do that. They took him to court. And they were like, we didn't know what we were signing.
That's your fault.
The same argument that other people try to use.
Yeah.
And the judge was like, I'm sorry, but you did sign this.
Yeah.
So you got to honor it.
No.
And they ended up settling him. I think they paid him like $15,000 or something like that. And and they ended up canceling it and walking away. But I was like, that guy's my hero.
No.
Can't do it again, I'm sure. But boy, that first time, it felt so good, I bet.
He can't do it again. I need to try that.
This is not legal advice.
No. Do you have to... I think nowadays you really have to say, like, don't do this, don't do that, That's why, like, they say don't put your pets in the microwave. There's a label on it because somebody did that.
Same with the lawnmower, the do not pick up lawnmower while it's running. Someone tried to cut their hedges by picking up their push lawnmower and chop their fingers off. I'm like, what an expensive lesson you had to learn. Why would you not think to...
How do you cut your fingers off, though?
Well, he picked up the lawnmower, and, like, when you curl your little fingers, you got the spinning
Oh,
blades.
okay. Oh, Lord. Oh.
Of course, there's got to be a much more efficient way than picking up a lawnmower.
Yeah, that seems really...
really heavy. You can only get one side of it, too. But you're going to throw it on top of the hedges. I mean...
He's going to hold it like that? Oh, man, that's gangster. That's like Arnold kind of picking up. Yeah, I'm about to do the hedges.
That's the new World's Strongest competition. You pull a bus, you trim your hedges with a lawnmower. You get really good. It's a riding lawnmower you pick up.
That's insane. What are other ones that, McDonald's and the hot coffee thing that actually happened to my dad? He didn't sue him though.
Did you ever hear the real story of that lady, the old lady? So like everybody knows the story of the woman, the old lady that sued because the coffee was too hot.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh well, of course coffee's gonna be hot. Like, McDonald's spent so much money to paint that woman in the worst possible light. She got like 3rd-degree burns.
Yeah.
Because the coffee was like, I can't remember the temperatures right now, but I mean it was ludicrously hot. I mean, like, here's the ranges. They say it's supposed to be like up to 165 or something.
Uh-huh.
It was like 210. I mean, it was just too hot. And the woman only wanted, she was like, just pay for my little hospital bill, because she had to go to the ICU for like a day or two. She's like, just pay for that, please. And that's all I want. And they were like, yeah, we're not going to do that, lady. She's like, please, please, please. No, we're not going to do that. And eventually she just had to sue him to get the money back.
Yeah.
And then she ended up winning a bunch of money.
Right.
And then McDonald's like, we can't have this. We're going to paint this lady in the worst light for
man.
all the world to know.
No, I didn't know that. Lesson learned, don't drink coffee. I don't really drink coffee.
I love the smell of it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't taste like it smells.
So I like milk with coffee flavoring, Plus also, if I drink coffee at like, I want to say anything after 12 o'clock, I'm up to like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, plus it gives me jitters, and you got to poop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like,
that's the one thing
instantly.
people don't like to talk about for that, but yeah, for sure.
It is. Yeah, I always, man, it's horrible. But I like milk, or like flavored milk, and then a little bit of coffee. Just give it a little aroma to it. But it messes me up.
I ever tell you keep bringing up flavored milk. And I know you remember my $1 million idea I had many years ago.
Yes, but why don't you tell us?
This was like, I don't know, 15, 20.
You talking about with the strawberry
milk?
milk?
Well, no, the cereal milk. So like 15, 20 years ago, I was like, you know what the best milk in the world is? The milk after you eat a bowl of cereal.
Yeah,
that cereal milk is so good.
It is.
And I was like, that would be a great way to get kids to drink their milk. If you
Sugar
could
milk.
just put in, like they have the Nesquik strawberry or the chocolate powder. You just put some crushed up cereal, mix it in the milk, boom, you got cereal milk instantly. And everybody was like, oh, that's a terrible idea. That's so disgusting. Nobody wants that. And I'm like, oh, it's so good. So I told everybody about it. If I date a girl, or hey, what do you think about this idea? Terrible idea. Don't follow that. Okay, all right. And in my mind the whole time, I'm like, this is such a good idea. It's game changer. I'm like, there is no downside to this. Think about it. I mean, every factory that makes cereal, like all the machines have little broken up pieces everywhere.
Yeah.
And I was like, when was the last time you saw a commercial for Nesquik? You just don't see a commercial because everybody knows about it. It's just generationally passed down from parent to child, grandparent to, whatever. Everybody just knows about chocolate and strawberry milk. It's so good. So you don't pay any money for advertising. You don't pay any money for your product, really. Who wouldn't give somebody $1 million for that wonderful idea?
Well, it had the straws with the flavor.
Well, those came out eventually, but I'd already had the idea by that point. So anyway, then, I don't know, the wife and I were walking in Walmart like 2 years ago, I think, at this point now, and she goes, oh, look, it's that dumb idea you had. And right next to the strawberry and chocolate milk, it was like Cinnamon Toast Crunch powder. I was like, that was one of my ideas. Frosted Flakes and Cinnamon Toast are top-tier cereal milk. She goes, well, it makes you feel any better. I don't think they probably paid him $1 million for that idea. I'm
no,
like,
a couple
$1
million.
$1 million idea. Are you kidding me?
That's like freaking me and freaking hot schedules. But I mean, they were already on the ball. But you remember Billy working at Chili's? He used to do the schedule, and it was on Excel. So, and I'm like, man, I'm tired of waiting for the schedule to come out or going to work, because I think at that point, I didn't really, we didn't use cell phones like we do now.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, man, what if I do it online? Like, what if it's get posted online and everybody just look at it online? I was like, I'm going to start working on it. So I start working out my HTML.
First off, what's an app and how do I do an app?
So I didn't know how to do an app, but I know how to post it on a website, So that was my goal. But then shortly afterwards, Hot Schedules came out, and I'm like,
They beat me to it.
They're way ahead of me. You know, I have no chance. So I gave that up. But now there's so many different hot schedules and forms out there. I probably should have just continued and just make my own.
So even though
That's
even
why
though
I'm
all
not
of
a
that
millionaire myself.
even though all that was a thing back when I worked at Hooters, my favorite thing was just to get a clipboard and just make a big grid with everyone's name on it, and I would
No.
handwrite schedules before that way I could erase them so quickly before I would put them in the computer. So I'd sit at home watching TV, just sketching out
No.
schedules on my grid.
Like one of those 85-year-old managers.
It's like I was doing the Sudoku. I was like, okay, I've got this person here, so I can't put this person here. They'll have to go in this row.
That's horrible. That's so bad. I can't. No, I always liked the digital version of it, and now, I mean, I haven't used it in quite some time, so I can only imagine how advanced that system is. Because the last time I used it, it was, shoot, you can assign people tasks and you can do training through it. I think it's absolutely incredible. But
They use their own schedules, their own system at work, and even that is quite robust. I imagine, the for-profit ones, that's all they do with schedules. I bet they're got quite a lot of options.
Right. So talking about work, right? Interviews. You do a lot of interviews?
I do so many interviews. They are the worst. I can't tell you. People were just complaining yesterday about somebody I hired. I was like, I can't help these people do good interviews and then show up to work for their first day either drunk or high, and you're like, How did you do this? How did you bamboozle me for 2 different interviews, 2 different managers?
I think interviews right now is absolutely.
First off, can we all agree that there should be a national form that you can give to every job that has all your information on it, so that you don't have to fill out and have the same application in
like
every job?
Healthcare. What I like to do in healthcare now.
I guess.
You can go online and it depends on what. Man, I got a lot of messages. Doctor you use, if they're within that network, they have your information.
That's so cool.
Like I can go, to my regular doctor, but then when I went to the emergency room, they were like, "Oh, you still on that same medicine?" Da 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 da.
Yes.
You know better than I do, because I can't
pronounce that.
can't remember the names of those things. So
It's like they threw a bunch of Scrabble tiles on the floor. That's what we'll call our medicine. Excellent. I can't pronounce that.
I can't either. They ask me every single time. I'm like, "You're the doctor. You're subscribing it to me. I don't know. Are you still taking it?" Yes, I am.
But I hate how you would always go on, like, you'd be on Indeed or whatever, and they'd be like, all right, fill out your resume. I'm like, okay, here's all the information for my resume. And they're like, would you like to apply for this job? Yes, please. Fill out all their information. It's the exact same information. I'm like, can we not just, like, send them a form or give me a digital file that has everything on it in the same format for every job, so that you don't have to do this ridiculous stuff all the time?
Click on ethnicity and all of that stuff. You got to do it a couple of times. And yeah, I totally agree. That should just. I mean, if you're on Indeed and filling it out, you shouldn't go on their personal. Like, you just wasted my time.
Exactly.
It's on my resume.
See above. That's all my responses. See above. Name. See above.
Now, I do got to say, I am. What is it called? Not discriminative. What is it? I don't know the word.
Discerning?
No.
What are you trying to say? What you doing? Describe it to me.
When you judge something just based off.
I think that's discriminatory. I think you had it right.
I was about to use the wrong word. Yeah, so if your application has lowercase on your name, your whole name, I don't even look at it. Like, you should be proud of your name, and we're just starting off with that. Delete. Next. Next. I don't mess with that at that point.
A lot of the interview questions that we have to ask are so not specific to the job. Like I struggle sometimes to figure out how they're related to anything, what I'm supposed to get from these answers.
Well, I think it's supposed to get people talking.
Well, like so one of them was
My butt hurts. This chair hurts.
I said those are two separate comments. I said, tell me the best compliment you've ever received. And I'm like, okay, this is your chance to tell me, oh, I'm such a hard worker.
Somebody told me that I'm sexy.
I dress nice. That's what somebody said. I'm like, you have a uniform. You worked at McDonald's. That everyone dressed the same. Like, that's the best thing they've ever said to you was you dress nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't enjoy interviews also. Well, for work, I don't. I think. Yeah, and a lot of people are fake.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know. You don't really know. I mean, I had some incredible interviews, especially like lately, and then when it comes down to it, I'm like, yo, who interviewed this dude?
This is not who was sitting across from me at the interview.
This is not anywhere close at all. Like,
if you could fake it for that 40-minute interview, just fake it for 8 hours and just be the whole shift. Just be that person. That's who I hired.
Well, and a lot of times, what I found out is, so let's say you do get hired. That first week that you're there, that's the best day will ever be. It just
all
goes.
downhill from there.
It really is, So if it already starting with crap, you're like, oh my god. So I don't know. And then after a while, it's like, okay, well, maybe it's just a bad week. If you really need somebody, maybe it's just a bad week or something like that, or I don't know. And then you forget about them, kind of, and then they be like, past 90 days, and be like, oh, now I'm stuck with them. It's my fault for sure. I'm sorry, guys.
What have I done?
I know. And they'd be like, who hired this person? You just kind of turn around and don't say anything.
He's always been here, I think.
He started before me.
No, he's only been here 6 weeks. No one knows. It's lost to time.
No, he used to work here and then left, and then we had to rehire him due to section 1.5-3.
Legend tells us it was pre-COVID.
COVID was horrible. It was so horrible.
My first day out of training at my current job, I showed up to my new store, and it was the first day of lockdown.
No.
So I showed up, and there was 2 employees in the whole store, and they're like, oh, yeah, we shut down today. So great. I'm like, oh, awesome. This is so wonderful. What do we do here? And they're like, today we're going to make 200 portions of ranch. I'm like, why?
Somebody coming.
Well, look, so our business, we did not do to-goes. I mean, it was like less than 1% of our sales.
Oh, ours too.
Because, I mean, you just don't order steak to go. It doesn't travel well. It's just not something you eat out of a styrofoam container,
right.
Stuff like that. And, we always prioritized dine-in. Well, then all of a sudden, you can't do dine-in. So, okay, now everyone has to switch to, we had to learn to cook differently. We had to undercook everything so that it would cook up by the time it got home to you and be the right temperature. And, we had to do all these different platings and stuff because we didn't have the infrastructure to have all of these different to-go containers and stuff like that because you never really,
right.
One, there wasn't a ton of leftovers, but 2, they weren't designed for travel and stuff like that. And so then I think now it's up to like 15% of our sales. It is insane.
I think ours was 7%, but we never to go.
So then we had to, we just made portions of everything for hoping the sales would come, and they eventually did. It was
wow.
It was real wild times when the state gave us a exemption to start selling bottles of liquor in the parking lot.
Oh, y'all can do no.
We could
liquor.
We could during lockdown.
Beer and wine, which a lot of people still don't know. That regulation hasn't been lifted, so you can still do it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, as long as if you buy I don't know why you would, because the markup is crazy. Where you can just go to like Kroger and whatever and just buy it there. But yeah, you can buy bottled beer and take it with you. You can buy draft beer even without that extra special license, and as long as it's sealed, you can do that. And of course, wine. Everybody still does wine, but
Now, do they have it? So I'm in South Carolina still working. I haven't been keeping up with Georgia. Do they allow you to take open bottles of wine home? Like
yes,
if
but you got to
finish?
seal it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same with us. We have a little special bag, and we'll staple the receipt, and it's got a little sticky seal on it to make sure nobody's popping straws in there, I guess. But
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But yeah, they would let us sell bottles of liquor during lockdown.
Wow.
I guess just to get rid of inventory and stuff like that. And it wasn't cheap, but it wasn't. You didn't like average out 30 shots at $8 a shot.
Yeah.
$300 for this bottle, please. It wasn't like that, but it was wild times because people would order a margarita to their car while they waited.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would have if I would have known that. I don't think in Georgia you could have done that, because no. In fact, I know we couldn't because we're asking about that and all the laws and stuff like that. We're like, what can we do? But I mean, we brought in absolutely zero. Zero. We had to get rid of. We had like 2 employees left, and the rest of them managers, and we did a lot of cleaning. And the managers would cook, and the other managers would do to go, and that was it. I mean, we still got paid, which we were fortunate because I know a lot of. Well, I don't even know if it's called fortunate because I know people that made so much money off of that time, and I'm like, they're not even doing anything, and I was still busting my butt, And I don't know for a fact they made more money than I did.
I know I was fortunate. Like I said, I left Hooters at the end of the year, and I was just going to be January 1st. New year, new me, new job. And when the lockdown happened, Hooters furloughed all their managers, but like 2. And the guy that came in the same time I did, he got let go for a while. And I was like, dodge that bullet.
I know, that's crazy.
But it was a wild time in the restaurant.
Did you like working at Hooters?
Yeah.
Do you have to judge?
Yeah.
Do you have to judge the girls like they say?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
You see, that's why I don't think I could
So
work there.
I will say that I enjoyed my time there. Was I uncomfortable sometimes? Yes. Did it feel weird as a straight white male trying to tell these girls how to apply makeup to cover up their tattoos? It felt a little weird. And I'm like, okay, you want to put some red down to kind of counteract the colors you have?
So
yeah.
They teach you that?
We had to do little makeup tutorials. Yeah, it was a little wild.
Now they don't care about tattoos.
Yeah, now they do not care. They were just started relaxing their hair standards when I left, to where you didn't have to have your hair done up all picture ready is what they called it.
Oh, okay.
At the time.
I think it's more called like trailer park updo.
Heard. And but the one I always felt worse whenever they would say they would go to Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
Just because that one, all the stories I've heard, and I've never worked there, they judge them on a much harsher. It's like, oh, you had a big meal before work. You get the worst section because you look the chunkiest. Oh, like, that's like, and they rate you 1 to 10 is what I was told.
Oh,
and like, you're number 1, so you get the best section. Number 2 gets the second best, and on down though. I'm like, I would feel absolutely
well, if you
terrible.
think about it though, you have to work to be a number 1. That's,
I guess.
So you putting in extra effort.
I suppose, but like just to look someone in the eye and be like, 9.
But that's controversial
Try
too
again.
because like, okay, so what if you have a thing for like blondes? And there's like one blonde in there, and then everybody else like brunette, redhead, and you're like, nah, the blonde got the one.
I see job postings from time to time, and I'm just like, I will not apply to that. I'm sorry.
I don't think so. I guess if I'm really, really desperate, and not saying it will be a bad job, I just feel like as a 6'5", 300-pound guy, I shouldn't be judging people. You know what I'm saying? I should be like, nah, you're not cute enough. Dude, look in the mirror.
My wife actually got me the job at Hooters.
Oh, really?
I was working at another local restaurant, and I was like, man, we got to make some more money. We just got ends we trying to meet here. And then she goes, hey, I was looking online and I found a job at Hooters you could apply for. I was like, oh, ha ha ha, so funny. Yeah, probably not going to happen. No, I really think you should do it. Yeah, I don't think you are. is it in the kitchen? Like, what's going on? And she's like, no. And she's like, oh, I was looking it up and, all this other kind of stuff. I think you'd be great at it. I'm like, you know what? I'll just put the application in just to see what happens. And then I got a job at Hooters. I was like, what is
Was she cool with it?
Yeah.
Jealous at all?
Not at all.
That's good. I mean, I guess if she, she would have been jealous, then it's kind of her fault.
Which, she's met me before, so she knows I'm a hard
Yeah.
pill to swallow sometimes. She wasn't really worried about it. Oh, they'll get to know him soon enough. I got nothing to worry about.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I could do it.
My favorite thing there
before, though, but-
was I would take video game systems up there. We would close at like 2 a.m. and then we would just play video games on all the TVs until like 3 or 4.
Really?
And sometimes I'd get a phone call at like 5 in the morning, and she's like, "Where are you at?" I'm like, "I'm at work playing Magic with the kitchen guys. Can you wrap that up and come home, please?" My bad. Hey guys, we gotta go.
But at that time, like, aren't they asleep? Like, what's the like for me? Okay, so if I do a closing shift, I can get out there pretty fast, but I normally don't, just because like I'm done with the shift. I want to take stuff easy, and a lot of times I do the stuff that I would do in the morning anyways. I just go ahead and do all that stuff. Sometimes I mop again, and like I just take my sweet time, and it'd be like, I don't know, we close at 12. It'd be like 2, 3 o'clock before I actually leave. But that's my account. Everybody's asleep. There's nothing going on afterwards. So why am I rushing? And I feel like when I'm rushing, like there are more mistakes to be made, and then I feel anxious. Anxious.
Anxious, yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say
Ancient.
ancient. Yeah.
I feel that way too sometimes.
Well, I do too. But yeah, so it's just always take myself sweet time. And
We've always been night owls, the wife and I. So she's always up,
She's still
till
up.
4 or 5 in the morning. Same as me. And then of course, in the restaurant business, I get home and I'm just like still amped up
Yeah.
from work. I'm like, I'm not going to bed at I get home at 3. I'm not going to bed now. It's
Right.
Next thing you know, you see the sun start to peek up.
Yeah.
You're like, should probably get about 45 minutes sleep before I have to take the children to school.
yeah, no, with Alyssa, I mean it's like 9 o'clock and she's out.
late.
I can call her and be like, "You're not answering your phone." It's done with. So yeah, everybody's asleep, and then I would go home and then I'd be up and then I watch YouTube and yada yada yada, and then I go, "Oh, Alyssa's about to get up. Let me go to bed." Like I just sneak in there, like I've been there the whole entire night.
For some reason, like my body knows.
You up too?
My body knows whenever it's supposed to be quiet, and it will become so clumsy. Like I could have my flashlight on my phone and everything, and I'm like, okay, gotta sneak in so quiet so I don't wake her up. Out of sweetness, not trying to like sneak around, but like,
Yeah.
don't want to bother her or anything. Next thing you know, I like turn around and knock a glass off the table. Oh, hope she didn't hear that. And you just hear me shh, 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 shh. Step on every board you step on. You just see an eye open in the bed. Just go to bed. Just walk.
And with that being said, this is the end of the video. We highly appreciate you watching or listening. Thank you very much. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We have some more stuff coming on. This is our first episode, and we just want to really say thank you to everybody. And as always, serve it neat.